Hey, Doug Upsall here for Doc Sports, and I don't have any free picks for you today. I kind of figured you'd figure that out by now, right? Hard to believe, isn't it, that it's already been, well, or I should say, it's only been just over a week since the NBA and the NHL shut down. There's no, spring training baseball. There's not much of anything, okay, right now. Just it's the way it is right now. The world we live in, just have to adapt, make changes, just figure out how to do something else. Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about here is what else can you do? Okay, now one thing, and not everybody's interested in this, so I'm first to admit, but it might be worth, if you have the time, to look into. Okay, let's learn something about horse racing. Now, horse racing is known as the term sport of kings, okay? And horse racing in this country used to be a really big deal. For the most part today, it's mostly featured around the Kentucky Derby and the Triple Crown, okay, races. That's where most people's interests are. Obviously, certain areas of the country, they have bigger races, okay, that they have a number of races, typically in the spring, that lead up into the Kentucky Derby. But that's going to change this year because the Kentucky Derby has been canceled off its first Saturday in May date and moved to the first Saturday in September. We have not heard word yet what the Belmont or the Preakness is going to do, but likely they will fall in line and try and do something along those same lines. Okay, so there's lots of changes. But here's the thing, though: horse racing, if you're like a numbers guy like me, it makes a lot of sense. Now I'll explain later about myself with horse racing, but right now there's horse racing. There's no people on the stands, but they have simulcasts going on, so you can watch it, okay, or you can bet on it. Obviously, 100% legal, has been, for years. So that's a good thing. And right now, there's been a few tracks that have closed down, even for simulcasting. But the majority of them are still open, and it's open for business, and there's wagering opportunities. So like I say, if you're a numbers guy, there's lots of things that you can take advantage of. And one of the things about horse racing that there's plenty of bad luck, and there's probably bad luck if it goes against you, and plenty of great luck if it happens to be that it goes your way. Okay, that's part of the nature of any sports betting, and you see a lot of that, in horse racing, definitely. Just randomness of horses coming around, could be literally be in last place, not even considered to be anywhere near a favorite, and the horse, for whatever reason, has a lot of gallop down the stretch, wins the race, screws your tickets, tear them up, throw them away. Okay, but for the most part, okay, and this is not the case. This is not true in every single case for sure, but generally speaking, the better horses with the better pedigree, with the better jockeys and the better trainers win more purses. Okay, those things can be all come together, or they could be individual. Okay, but one of the things that's really unique to me about horse racing is that you have the opportunity, if you're into statistical analysis, which primarily that's what I'm into, and as are the case of many of the guys at Doc Sports. And the only sport that I could even think of that has as many different numbers as horse racing, excuse me, is the NFL, and probably college football as well. But there is a ton of statistical analysis that you can do for horse racing and really break things down. And you can also do it a lot of different ways. Now, myself personally, what I would recommend doing it by choosing depending on the time of year, because all tracks are not open all year. They're open for periods of time by state laws, and some go on and off. Obviously, there's more during the summertime where different tracks open. But for example, like right now, a couple that I like: Gulfstream, Oaklawn, and Santa Anita. So those are three known tracks that you can follow. And you can follow the horse races. So that takes out the element of trying to do a lot of tracks and trying to figure out all this information. So you're just basically, what you're doing is you're narrowing, okay, the number of races you have to follow. And in turn, just because it has 10 races, that doesn't mean there's 10 good races at any horse track. So you can take that and you can narrow it down even further. So now you're being more selective in your approach. Okay, so that's another thing that you can do. Now there's any number of different places that you can find out information from, and the prices, you can go to, like the Daily Racing Form, for example, is an excellent choice. They have a variety of packages of what you can check out, you can see, you can teach yourself, and you can learn. And it's not even if you've never done horse racing before, that's something that you can learn about. I mean, you can learn about how to do almost anything on the internet. So certainly you can learn about how to do horse racing. So that's just something else that I'd like to throw out there. And the amount of things that you can research, okay, and find things that work for you. I mean, it's mind blowing. It's staggering. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff out there that you can do. Now, you know what? The one thing you have to do, though, if you're going to go into horse racing, okay, you have to have the mentality of a baseball batter, because you are not going to hit 500. Okay, if you pick 10 races, I mean, you can hit 5, but the chances of doing that are very, very remote. Consider that, for example, trainers or jockeys in the money, over a longer period of time, typically, okay, at like 25% is considered really good. Okay, so again, like I said, kind of the baseball mentality. If you know what, you hit 3 you put 3 hits out of 10 at bats, you're a 300 hitter. That's 7 times you failed. Okay, but yet you could be hitting 300. You could be on your way to a Hall of Fame career. So that's the thing with horse racing. Okay, you can't get too excited about the wins and losses, and you pick the right winners, over that course, you're going to have a lot of nice wins, okay, with some nice favorites, maybe or some nice horses that are going to pay you some decent amount of money. Now, the other thing too, if you're new to this, okay, I would definitely not recommend that you even anywhere consider let's just say like you would your regular sports wagering. I'd stay away from that type of thinking altogether. In terms of dollar amount, I would start low. Okay, if you would, for example, if you normally bet, this is hypothetical. Okay, let's just say you normally bet $500 on a weekend. Okay, for college football or the NFL. Okay, so let's just say that's your normal. And I'm not saying that doesn't mean those that you do less. I'm not saying if it's 150, that's fine. Okay, but for horse racing, you have to have the same type of mentality and narrow it down even further. So, for example, I might say that if you for horse racing, if you want to just try it, okay, don't go crazy. Take $20 or $50, okay, experiment, check it out, try it out, see what you can do, okay, and it's fun, okay. And again, if you're into the statistical analysis to where you want to read, and just like you would with your football betting, okay, do that. Okay, there's a lot of stuff out there, okay, that you can find out about. I know I keep harping on that, but it's a fact, and that's what, at least from my perspective, that's what makes it fun, because you have this amount of information that you can develop a skill by doing it. Okay, so I would suggest that try some different tracks, okay, and such, and any of those types of things. See what works best. If you want to do one track, hey, I would highly recommend that. Just do one track. Let's say like Oaklawn, for example, they race, I believe it's Thursday through Sunday, so that's only 4 days a week. The horses are posted the day in advance. You can see, you can get the information for the most part all in advance the day before. So you have a lot of time to do it. Now, if you don't have the time, but you're interested, you're saying, Doug, hey, you know what? Yeah, you know what? I am interested in this, but I don't have the time. I am working as opposed to you from that standpoint. And so I got a family. Hey, I totally get it. But yet you still would like to do it? Well, starting March 25th, yours truly will start having horse racing picks. Okay, I'm going to present them in a manner like I'm going to say normal people bet them at a track. I'm not going to try and treat everybody like they're a professional horse player. I'm just going to present different elements like that, and it's only going to be $30 a day. Okay, so that's what it is, and it'll be multiple picks each and every day, and so if that's of more interest to you, you can check that out at the Doug Upstone page at Doc Sports if that's of interest to you. The other thing I wanted to throw out to you too is that this is a great opportunity. Now it's not out there yet, but for the most part, whether it be ESPN or anything pretty much on sports, the other thing that you can do that's coming up. Obviously, free agency is occurring right now, so you're seeing a lot of changes. You'll have plenty of time, okay, with no NBA, no Major League Baseball, no hockey. You got plenty of time to when the different books are out or the information that you can get on the various websites, okay, about the different teams. Take advantage of it, okay. When the books come out, like typically, sometimes late May, June for sure. When those books come out, grab the books, okay? Start reading them now, okay? What can it hurt you? A lot of people buy magazines or they look at stuff on the internet or they make purchases, okay? And they never even look at it. Now I know there's time limitations, but for the time that you spend maybe for sports gambling, okay? Now you other than again for the most part horse racing, there's not a lot else that you can go on unless you want to bet on darts or you want to do some different other sports in other countries, okay? That's up to you. But this is your best opportunity, okay, that you'll ever have in sports betting to be prepared for football like you never, ever have been before. Okay, you can get the magazines. You can, like I said, read the different things at a variety of different websites and be more informed going into the season than ever before. Now, there's going to be some potential caveats. We don't know what's going to happen, okay, with the coronavirus. But the fact of the matter is that you can be more prepared than ever, okay, for what could come your way for football this year and make it your best season ever. Okay, so that's something else that you can do along the way then too. So there you have it. There's a couple of tips for you from yours truly. Again, like I said, I'll have some next Wednesday, March 25th. I will start having horse racing picks, and for the most part, I believe it'll be Wednesday through Sunday that I'll have them. If you're not interested in horse racing, then don't. Okay, it's as simple as that. I have an interest in horse racing. I always have. When I used to be in the golf business years ago and lived in the Midwest, for example, I would go to Arlington probably 5-6 times a year during the course of the summer. Learned some different tips, tricks, met people, so you kind of, figured out my own way, okay, which is what I'm suggesting you to do. Find your own way. But I have done that. I've always been interested during the course of the summer. Now there's a track here, but the track is open primarily during football and basketball. So once or twice a year, maybe, okay, not a great track here in the Phoenix area. Actually prefer to go to OTBs. And so, probably have done that 5 or 6 times a year, primarily same thing in the summertime, okay, when I have more available time. So, have my strategies, but now really ramping up and having the ability to really take the time and develop those strategies and learn new ones at the same time to be able to present, a number of winners, and got my fingers crossed. So far, so good. Okay, and what I've been working on since all this started. So we'll do our best, okay, to make sure that for those of you that would like to purchase it, to make some money. But that's up to you. Okay, so this is Doug Upstone for Doc Sports. Again, consider horse racing. Get wise on football before the season starts. You got the time. Make it happen. That's what I'm going to do, and I hope you do the same too. So until next time, Doug Upstone for Doc Sports. As of right now, I'm out.